In some countries, there are certain foods that people don't eat. For example, in India, they don't eat beef, cows, right, and in Muslim countries, they don't eat pork, and so on and so forth. There are different beliefs, different prohibitions, objections. But in every country on this planet, there is bread. It's their own kind. It's different everywhere, made with yeast or without, big and crusty or flat, black, white, rice-based, any kind at all, but bread exists in every corner of the world, and it can be incredibly diverse. Recently, I turned my attention and just couldn't ignore a TikTok trend. It's bread baked in a sleeve. That is, you basically don't need to make a sourdough starter or have any cast iron pots to bake it in. You don't need any special baking pans or a bread maker or a multi-cooker. By the way, using a multi-cooker is also an interesting experience. You just throw everything in, it mixes and bakes by itself. That's also an option. But like I said, even with the bare minimum, just having one of those food sleeves, that heat-resistant film, it creates an oven effect inside, and with just regular plain white flour. Of course, I always try to choose flour with a higher protein content for bread. But I'll tell you, if you have flour that's meant for pancakes or that you use for baking, like for sponge cakes, that'll work too and will do just fine. You'll also need yeast, salt, sugar, water, and a bit of oil. And today, I want to add a little something from myself. This will be our kind of Ukrainian bread. We'll add dill seeds specifically. I think you've definitely tried bread with flax, sunflower seeds, caraway, or all sorts of nuts, right? But with dill seeds, that's very, very Ukrainian and truly authentic. And you absolutely have to try it, okay? You can even do without this friend. I just want to speed up the process, so I'll mix it in here. If you don't have it, you can do everything by hand, in the same order as in the food processor. The only thing is, it takes 3 times as long. Yes, by hand it's 3 times slower. So, my friend, let's get started. We add the dry yeast. Remember, if you're using fresh yeast, you need 2.5 to 3 times more, about 3 times as much. Sugar, rom-bom-bom. Flour, pre-sifted. Nice, clean flour. Salt. I don't sprinkle salt directly onto the yeast. It can destroy them, so it's better to have something in between, like flour. Now, add the oil right away. Water. Just regular water at room temperature. Nice and tasty, full of life. You can use mineral water, even sparkling, or some good natural mineral water that has potassium, calcium, sodium in it. That way, the bread will be even healthier, and we also add a nice tablespoon of dill seeds right away. Knead it in a food processor for 4-5 minutes at most. If you're doing it by hand, then 15 minutes. Start at a slow, moderate speed, then you can turn it up a bit. Here, let me show you again. Look, here. Of course, it's still sticking to your hands a bit. That's absolutely normal. Dough always gets stronger and more compact after it has some time to rest and think. So, here I have some leftover oil in the cup. You can pour it out and use it to grease the bowl so the dough doesn't stick. Now we'll get everything off the hand. Let's set it aside to proof. Do you remember what temperature yeast likes best? Yes, 30 to 35 degrees. So that means either leave it in your room, or put it under a blanket, or even turn the oven on to 30 degrees and let the dough rest for an hour. It should rise about 2.5 times, or even a good 2.5 times. And then we'll shape it into a kind of loaf, and you'll see how just a few 100 grams of flour, a bit of yeast, and some water turn into an incredibly tasty bread with an amazingly crispy crust and a white, almost milky-scented crumb. It's fantastic. I was surprised myself and didn't believe it was possible, but I gave it a try. It works, and I want you to believe in miracles too, and be able to bake bread under any circumstances. Let me cover it up a bit more, let it. And I'll put it somewhere warm, closer to the window, to the sunlight. There, I've put it in a warm spot. The flowers still smell, but the bread should have risen by now. An hour has passed. It looks incredible. There are bubbles now. It smells good. There's a pleasant, light tanginess. You can really sense the life of the yeast, but in no case should your potential loaf smell too sour. As soon as you notice, you know that almost ammonia-like, strong, sharp smell, it probably means it overheated. Maybe it was too hot somewhere. Maybe you put it in the oven not at 30, but thought 45 would be fine. No, that's not okay. No, that actually makes a big difference. So the first sign is the smell. The consistency should be stretchy, yeah, and look here, you can really see these strands, right? That's the gluten working, that's the yeast doing its job. We dust the surface with flour and shape our loaf. Yeah. Take it, knead it a little by hand, and then we'll start shaping it right away. How can you fold it? First, stretch it out like this. Oh, look at those bubbles. Stretched it, then rolled it up and pinched it here. Pinched it, pinched it, pinched it. Nicely and gently flip it over, just like this, adding a little flour, more flour right here, and then you can carefully shape it however you truly like, perhaps with a bit of a distinct pointy end, or you could simply make it a perfectly straight loaf. There we go, there we go, there we go. Absolutely perfect. Awesome. Let's make some cuts. I have a special knife for bread with a replaceable blade. It's very sharp, but you can do this with a regular knife too. Just don't press too hard and use the tip of the knife. Ideally, of course, it should be sharp as well. Yeah, you make the cuts, and you could even carve out little bunnies if you wanted, but why would you? Right. 1. Just like that, there we go. There we go. Literally 2, 3, 5 cuts. 7, no need to make a grid. I just got a bit carried away. Now we need to put this loaf into a food-grade baking sleeve. All right. Leave about 6 or 7 centimeters on each side so you can tie it up and secure it. This way, we'll create an oven, a little oven for our bread. Okay, let's cut it. With this baking sleeve, you might have either little metal clips included, or a ribbon like this one. You need to take it out. This green one, come here. We definitely need 2 ties. Got it. All right. On one side. So in a bakery, you need a deck oven, a proofing cabinet, and large dough mixers. Today, all we need is the baking sleeve. Great. Next, you need to carefully transfer the loaf into the sleeve. Yes. Take it. It might be a bit wobbly or get a little deformed, but you can fix that right inside the sleeve. Don't worry if the first one doesn't turn out perfect, for example. It's no big deal. Next time, it'll definitely turn out better. Yeah, give it some space. There we go. There we go, there we go. Put it in place. Tie it from the other side. Yes, of course. Leave some space. Irishka. There should be a little bit here, right? Because the bread will rise. Be sure to leave some room. That's it. Basically, it's ready for baking. But you know, everyone likes to rest before an important task. So, while your oven is heating up, let the bread sit there for 10 to 15 minutes. All right, the oven should be at 180 degrees, regular top and bottom heat, no convection. While the bread is rising, let's clean up the surface, and we'll bake it for about an hour, 50 to 60 minutes. Exactly. Oh, it's already risen a bit, puffed up. The oven is preheated. Let's go carefully. Just like that. Oops. Here we go, 180 degrees. The baking tray is already in there so it stays hot. We put it in and wait. Like I said, it'll take about 50 minutes to an hour. Now comes the magic. You can tell by the smell that it's ready. You can also tell by the crust, golden, nicely browned. There we go. Take it out right away. Be careful, watch out, because the hot steam will be well over 100 degrees Celsius, and you could severely burn your hand. And the crust. You get it right. That's it. Look, evenly baked, golden, just perfect. Want me to show you the inside? Of course I do. You know you're not supposed to cut or eat hot bread, right? You do it anyway, right? Take a look. So fluffy. It smells kind of milky to me for some reason, even though there's no milk, no butter, nothing like that in here. And it really smells like dill. You can make a classic white bread or add any other favorite spices you like. There you go. But a true Ukrainian has to try it with dill seeds. All right. Let's go. Your move, my chef. Awesome. It's really tasty, and the salt is just perfect. You have to add exactly the right amount of salt, down to the gram.